Hello, this is Dr. Mary Baker coming to you from my home office today to give you a little bit of an introduction to the online summer class that you're signed up for, which is ECE 5371, Section D01. So I've got the Blackboard page pulled up here, which you will be able to access tomorrow. And as you can see, there is a folder entitled Course Information and Syllabus, and your syllabus is shown here. We'll go ahead and download and open the syllabus, and I will go over a few things with you that I think are important. So let's let that open. While I let that open, here we go. All right, this is my contact information, my email, my office, and my cell phone number. You are under no circumstances to use the cell phone number and text me unless it is an absolute emergency. An emergency doesn't mean you're in the middle of taking an exam and you don't know how to answer a question. An emergency means really an emergency. Given that this is an online class and it's relatively self-paced, I don't really think you'll have any emergencies. If you abuse the privilege of using text messaging, I will block you so that you won't be able to text me later in the semester. The best way to reach me is through email. It is through the Texas Tech email. So this summer, I'm in and out. I'm not consistently in my office. And so if you need to meet with me face to face, you'll need to contact me by email and make an appointment. The course is offered as an online course for everyone's convenience. All right, the course is primarily taught through Blackboard and Wiley Plus. Wiley is the publisher of the Kreyszig Engineering Analysis book, and so that's the book that we will be using for this course. The course is set up on Blackboard. There are some course modules. The course modules will contain homework assignments. Some of them will contain PowerPoint slides. Some will contain most will contain links to video lectures on YouTube. There are four major areas that we'll look at this summer. We'll look at differential equations, and included in that is a little bit of vector calculus. We'll look at Fourier and Laplace analysis, linear algebra and matrices, and finally data analysis and statistics. There are 9 modules, and these are all taken from Wiley Plus. Every module has a Wiley Plus homework assignment, and the point totals are given below. They're basically, if you'll look here, here are the chapters that we will cover in the textbook, and here are the homework points associated. Now, for example, I've got Chapter 1 and Chapter 2 already picked out. I believe Chapter 1 on the Wiley Plus system shows to be 11 points, and Chapter 2 shows to be 13 points. Basically, all of these homework assignments will be weighted equally. Okay, so they'll each be assigned 10 total points. So I'll take your score from Wiley Plus, and I'll work with that and get it to where basically I'll use a conversion factor so that it ends up counting for 10 points. So the module homework will be 90 points. There will be one midterm for 180 points and a final exam for 180 points to make for a total of 450 points for the semester. The grading scale is shown here, and you can download the syllabus and look at that in more detail later. So let's go back up and talk a little bit about the homework. In order to do the homework, you must subscribe to and purchase the Wiley Plus system. If you do that, you do not have to purchase the textbook. The textbook, the electronic version of the textbook, is available as a part of the Wiley Plus system. So you'll be able to access the textbook readings when you purchase Wiley Plus. The way to do that, let me go briefly to the Blackboard site, and let me go back and I'll just show you. When you open one of the modules, you'll see a couple of Wiley Plus links. If you do not have access, and this is automatically synced, so there's a particular section associated with this course. So let me say really clearly, do not go to Wiley's website because you will end up purchasing the wrong thing and you may or may not be able to get your money back. Go into Blackboard and click on any of these Wiley Plus links. Now, it's not going to do it for me because I already have Wally Plus, but basically what it's going to do for you is it's going to take you to a site to allow you to get access for this particular classes section. So the process is very simple. Don't overcomplicate it and make it harder than it is. If you go directly to Wiley Plus's site and you try to find this course, you will not be linked into the Blackboard system. And like I said, I can't guarantee that Wiley will give you your money back. So you will need to go through this course in Blackboard in order to purchase the correct version of Wiley Plus. All right, so going back to Blackboard, then each module is laid out similar to what you see here. Sometimes I have the videos in a folder. Other times they're just listed here individually. With each one, there is a reading assignment and a homework assignment. So you'll know for a given module what chapter we're on. The homework, as I said, it's going to vary from 10 to 15 problems. There'll be one assignment per week. From time to time, I feel the book doesn't necessarily give great coverage on something, and in that case, I'll provide you with a link. This is background material to help make things easier for you. So, for example, if you're not quite getting what an integrating factor is and how that works from the textbook, there's a link here that will take you to a set of notes on integrating factors from the internet that I think are maybe a little more straightforward and a little more easy to understand. Okay, so at the moment, what is available to you are modules 1 and 2. Wiley has updated their textbook this semester, so I'm having to actually go in and reselect the homework problems for each module. We're on a schedule of roughly one module per week. Some of this needs to be updated. This will go to module 9. This will go away, which is why these items aren't available to you to see yet, because I haven't completely gone in and updated everything in the course. What is available is module 1 and module 2. As a general rule, at the latest, the modules will be posted the Monday before the week the homework is due. So Monday evening, the modules should be completely complete and posted. The homework will be posted and available. Usually, I'll work more than a week in advance. So, for example, right now, module 1 is up, which is this week's module. Module 2 is up, which is next week's module. And you can expect to see module 3 up fairly soon. But I tend to do that kind of work on Mondays, and those things post on Monday nights. The homework is typically due on a Tuesday. So obviously this week the module will post tomorrow since class starts on Tuesday. But typically the modules will post on Monday evening, and then you'll have a week and a day to do the homework assignment. If you have questions on the homework, I would ask that you please email me with as much detail as you can possibly give on the homework question or problem that you're having an issue with. And I will, Sunday evening at 5 o'clock, I will cut off the opportunity for new questions on the homework. So you will need to have worked enough of the homework to know what your questions are by Sunday at 5. On Sunday at 5, I'm collecting all the questions, and I will then sit down on Monday before I post the module for the following week, and I will address either by video or in writing the questions on the homework for that week. So it's the best thing I can do to simulate having office hours and being able to actually sit down with you in the classroom and work problems, because this is an online course. So the best I can do is to say, please write me detailed questions. I will look at those questions, and then I will provide feedback on questions over the homework or technical questions to the class as a whole. So it will be like asking a question in class. Everybody's going to hear the answer. So there will be 9 modules, 10 homework points per module, and then 2 exams. I'll have the exam dates ready relatively soon. If we look at a calendar, the last day of class, somewhere I believe around August 14th. So we'll do roughly 1 module per week, and the midterm will occur somewhere right in the middle, which would be, I think, July 3rd, but it'll actually be given on a Sunday. It'll be given on a Sunday early afternoon, and you'll have 24 hours to do each exam. So having said that, let's go back to the syllabus and let's look about the exams. We're going to have 2 exams. Some exam questions might be given through the Wiley Plus system. At this point, I do not plan to do that. I plan to make up all of your questions, but sometimes Wiley Plus has some good problems that I might want to utilize. So most of the questions will be posted as a document on Blackboard. That document will show up on Blackboard at a specific time, and from that time forward, you will have 24 hours to complete the exam. The exam's got to be your own work, and it has to be submitted on time. You should also be aware that there may be slightly different versions of the exam from one student to another, because I've had in the past with online classes some significant problems with cheating. If that's done, I have a way to anonymously randomize who gets what question, and the questions would be similar, but in such a way to eliminate, as best I can in an online course environment, any academic dishonesty. Okay, this is very important, so if you don't hear anything else, you need to hear this. The only way to submit an exam that is not done through the Wiley Plus system is through Blackboard. So if you email me your exam, if you want to bring me your exam, that is not an acceptable method for exam submission, and I will not grade it. So let me say that again. The only way that you can submit exam materials is through the Blackboard system. No exams will be accepted through email. I will delete them. I won't even open them. So what that means is you need a few things. First of all, you need a way to create a PDF of your work on the exam and upload it to Blackboard. You should be prepared to upload your exam at least an hour early, and remember that if exams come in late, basically the system will not accept them. So I'm trying to remove myself from controversy and having to make those kinds of decisions about yes or no, I will take late things. Basically, Blackboard is going to decide time is up, submission is over. I won't reopen it because once submission is over, then people tend to talk or post their answers or share their answers with each other, which you're absolutely not supposed to do. But I will not reopen the submission. I will not take a late submission. So you need to be ready to upload your exam an hour early. The reason you need to be ready to upload it an hour early is in case something goes wrong. Okay, so I will be right around the due date of the time that the exam is due. I will be monitoring my email in case anybody has any problem with submission. Your exam needs to be legible. And remember, you're going to be scanning your exam and uploading it. So you need to use as dark an ink as you possibly can. You need to write as large as you can. You need to be in good lighting when you take your photos, but not too much lighting, not too much glare. You need to use a high resolution imaging device, so a good quality cell phone. No exceptions to these policies. So if you can't figure out how to do the exam on time, make a PDF version, upload it to the Blackboard site, then probably the distance version of this class is not the right section for you to be in, and you should wait and take the live version in the fall, because these things are really easy, but I've found that some students just have problems figuring out how to do this. So no exceptions. You will have to upload a version, and I will need to be able to read it. So when you take your copy and you make your PDF, I would really suggest to you that you view it first and see if you can read your work, because if you can't read it, there's no way I can read it. Okay, if you're ill and you can't take the exam, you must have a physician's note. And it's not okay to just say so-and-so was at the office Saturday afternoon at 4 o'clock. You need a physician's note that says you were so sick, in that doctor's opinion, that you were way too sick to take an exam at home during that 24-hour period that was scheduled for the exam. And I will need the doctor's name and a phone number, and that needs to be clearly legible so that I have a way to actually contact their office. If you're at a conference, because I've had students before tell me they were at a conference and it was impossible for them to do the exam at the conference. So if you do research and you're at a conference this summer and you cannot take the exam during the scheduled 24-hour period, I'll need a note from your supervising professor, or if you're working, I'll need a note from your boss, and this has to be very specific. It will have to state that you do not have any internet access during the 24-hour period that the exam is scheduled, and you are completely unable to submit the exam during the scheduled time. So if I have those things, then I can make arrangements to give you a different exam during a different 24-hour period. However, I will not wait more than 48 hours after the prescribed 24-hour period for the exam submission. And if you do not have either a specific doctor's note or a specific note from your supervising professor that covers the entire 24-hour period, then you will be required to submit the exam on the date that it's due. Um, let's see. You must sign up for Wiley Plus. It's how the homework will be graded. It's linked through Blackboard already, and as soon as you push one of those Wiley Plus links, it's going to take you to where you can purchase. In a live class, you're excused if you miss class or if you miss an assignment due to a religious holy day. In this class, I will not schedule an exam or homework on such days. We will upload exams on Sunday afternoons, but you will have more than enough time after midnight Sunday. If your religion does not allow you to do any work on Sunday, you'll have more than enough time um, after midnight on Sunday to start the exam and complete it. If you know what you're doing and you've studied adequately, I'm designing the exams to be roughly 3 hours. So you should try to budget about 3 hours of time for the exam. Students with disabilities. So many of the assignments are self-paced. A lot of the exam questions are also self-paced. At this point, I do not intend to assign a time-limited exam. I intend to do only soft copy assignments, not electronic. However, if you do require accommodations due to a diagnosed or documented disability, please contact me as soon as possible to make arrangements. Probably the biggest issue is if you are hearing impaired. If you're hearing impaired, you will need closed captioning on the videos, and we need to know that right away so that the university can work on beginning to close caption the videos. In this class, and they're actually not really videos. They're basically PowerPoint slides with a voiceover. So it's not like I have videotaped myself giving lecture notes on the board. There's very little that is spoken in the video that isn't on the PowerPoint slide. So as a general rule, it's not an issue. So academic dishonesty in this class, plagiarism or cheating or any other forms of academic dishonesty will result in a grade of 0 on the assignment. Do not copy or share your work on exams. Do not trade out work on exams. Do not transmit photocopies of your work. And I would just ask, because I have had an episode in the past where someone was pressured to do work for another student. If someone does ask or pressure you to do so, they are not your friend. And if you will provide me with documentation, I'll report that to the graduate dean and the department chair, and I'll pursue with as much energy as I possibly can within the limits of what the university allows to have that situation taken care of. Do not copy in materials from the internet when you take the exam. If you try and copy and paste things from the internet, the plagiarism detector that's built into Blackboard will figure this out. If you have any doubts about whether or not something is academic dishonesty, please ask me, or just err on the side of caution. If you have to question, then it's probably not something you want to do. All right, let's talk a little bit specifically about the online class and the nature of an online class. So I've mentioned some of this before, but we'll just summarize it because it's all nicely summarized here. First of all, I'll post modules for the week on Monday at the latest. The module will consist of videos and sometimes PowerPoint slides or internet links. I'll sometimes post a summary video as well for the module that week. This is something that I'm doing new this year. I'm going to try every Monday to do a little short chat that introduces the module, talks about some of the sort of objectives that you want to get from the module, points out anything that you might have particular difficulty with, and as I said, addresses anyone's questions from the homework in the previous week. So I'm going to try to do that every Monday. It'll probably be one of the first things that I do on Monday morning. Homework will typically be due the following Monday, and you can change this to Tuesday because I have decided once I do that discussion that I actually will give you another full day to get the homework done. So homework typically will be due every Tuesday, middle of the day. Exam dates and times will be announced at least a week in advance, and I actually anticipate sooner than that. I will post a practice exam on Blackboard so that you can be sure that you understand how to download an exam, work the exam, do a scan, upload your exam so that we know the process goes smoothly. I would suggest you do this a while before the first exam occurs so that you know how to do it and you're not trying to do that under stress. There's an app called CamScan, CAMSCAN. I know the app exists for Apple devices. I don't know about other devices, but I know with this app you can take a screenshot with your cell phone, and then it will convert it to a PDF for you. So that's one way to submit your work on the exams. Okay, this is one of the more important bullet points. I expect and demand respect and courtesy in this class from you, and you should expect the same from me. I would ask that you please not be rude or demanding when you address me or your classmates via email. I would request professionalism. I'm Dr. Baker. I'm not Miss Mary. I'm Dr. Baker. Um, and I would, just expect you to treat me and your classmates with respect. Because we're not face to face, we can't interpret body language or other subtle social cues that we could interpret if we were face to face. So everything that is reflective of you is reflected in how you write your emails. My grading practices are what they are. How much credit I assign for a problem or partial credit I assign is my decision and my decision alone, and it is not negotiable. So I will just say in the past, I have had a student that I believe borderlined on harassment and argumentativeness, and I did have to inform that student that if they did not stop that behavior, it would be reported to the university. So if you are abusive via the email or internet, then I will report you for harassment. It's only been a couple of times I've ever had an issue, but I think sometimes people don't realize, you cannot send endless argumentative emails questioning grading practices. I have taught for almost 30 years. I have a lot of experience. I've taught this course a number of times, and I've taught online for several years. So I know all of the traps. It doesn't mean I'm perfect, but it means that you get the absolute best effort that I can put forward. Please do not address people via email in a way that you would not address them in person. A good test of that is, would you be comfortable speaking that way to someone if your mom or dad or minister or best friend or child was there in the room? And if you would hesitate before saying that with a person who you respect and care for was in the room and what they might think of you, then it's probably not a good way to address someone. Okay, enough said about that. Um, in the online class, it is important not to accidentally upload an exam before you're ready to submit it. I will not allow submissions after the deadline for any reason, not even 1 minute after the deadline. So please upload your submission an hour in advance at least. In the past, with online classes, I thought expectations for email responses got a little bit unreasonable. So I can guarantee that I will check Monday through Friday, I will check email twice a day between the hours of 8 and 5. I will not guarantee that I'll check email over the weekends or after 5. The exception is that 24-hour period when the exam is posted and you're working on the exam. And then I'll try to check email every 3 to 4 hours when I'm awake. And I'm awake a lot. So chances are pretty good that even if you email me at midnight, I'll be awake and I'll respond. So exams will be posted Sunday afternoon and due the next day. I'm going to design them to take about 3 hours if you're adequately prepared. You can use your book, you can use your notes, you can use any additional materials. I make my own exam questions up. You probably will not be able to find them on Chegg or any other online question repository because most of them will be designed by me. Finally, online classes are not for everyone. There's a lot more expectation on you to read the textbook, learn independently. You've got to plan and organize yourself. Much of this, if you come from an engineering background, much of this course will be reviewed, but it's maybe been a while since you had differential equations and linear algebra and probabilities. So it's a good course to sort of bring everything together. So it's your responsibility to contact me via email if you have any questions about the material. Unlike in a face-to-face class, I can't read the facial expressions of the people in my class. So when I'm teaching in a regular face-to-face section, I can see sometimes the entire class just has this befuddled look on their face, and that tells me this is maybe a topic I need to slow down on or give a little more information on. I can't do that with an online class. So all I really have is to be able to rely on you to ask me questions. So if you have a question over the technical material in the class, please do not hesitate anytime to address me with that question. If you feel that I have graded unfairly, or I made poor decisions, or used poor judgment on how I decided to give partial credit, or you want a detailed explanation for why I made the decision I made, that is an issue that I might address once, but we will not have a back and forth on how your materials were graded. So I will provide you with correct answers and with a discussion of the technical nature of the problem, of the question, but I will not provide you with justification for my rationale of why I graded the way I graded, because that's, just up to me and my experience as a teacher and an engineer. So I think if we can all follow those guidelines, and I will try to be as responsive as I possibly can. I probably will check email actually much more often than just twice a day. I do have 1 week in the end of June when I will be traveling, and there will be long periods of time where I may not have email access because I'm kind of out in the middle of nowhere. And so I will try to let you know days that I may not be able to be as quickly responsive, so that you can ask in advance, or maybe know not to expect a response until later that evening. I'll try to let you know that, probably in those Monday short video releases. The videos for the class are not perfect, nor is the textbook perfect. When I find an error in the textbook, I will try to point out the error. Let's see if I can find um, the textbook link so that you can see. It's actually the same book that the math department uses in Higher Math for Scientists and Engineers 1 and 2. Let's see if I can find. Should be linked here. Yeah, so basically you can access sections on the textbook through the Wiley links. And so they look like this. If you have any other questions about how to access the textbook, please do not come up the day after the first homework assignment was due and tell me that, oh, you bought the wrong book, or oh, you couldn't buy the book, or oh, the bookstore didn't have the book, because that's not an issue here, because Wiley Plus is directly linked to the class. So I would very much appreciate a couple of people in the class dropping me a note just to let me know for sure that the Wiley Plus system worked and you were indeed able to purchase access and you do see the homework, etc. That probably will begin showing up sometime tomorrow. So that pretty much concludes what I wanted to say today, and feel free to send me an email, introduce yourself. I would request that if you do contact me via email about the class, please in the subject line put ECE 5371. Then that allows me to do on Sunday evenings a quick search to find any questions that came in that maybe I missed throughout the week. That is very beneficial to me as well as beneficial to you, and it avoids inadvertently having your emails missed or overlooked or accidentally deleted. So that would be very helpful to me. So just ECE 5371 in the subject line, and then you can put whatever else you want as well. But ECE space 5371 would be really helpful to me, as well as to you. So thank you very much for listening and for your attention. Please read the syllabus very thoroughly so that you know what the expectations are on you. And please feel free to watch this video as many times as you want to watch the video so that you know for sure kind of what the expectations are in the course. Thanks again.